fuck. Okay. What's going on, everybody? For those of you who don't know, my name is Seth Wilkins, and you're listening to Kiss Your Homies podcast. This is actually the first episode. Kind of a huge, massive deal. I'm a little nervous, but, you know, that's showbiz, baby. You know what I mean? So, first, let's just raise our glasses to a toast to the first ever podcast. This is history in the making. Right here.
To it, baby.
Yummy.
Right now.
Yeah. Yes. Love to hear it.
Ooh-wee. Disgusting.
To your future, man. Yeah. Not the best, not the worst.
No, it's actually fucking gross. It's definitely gross, but
I think I'm getting used to it now.
a little bit of liquid courage.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is the series podcast, which is going to be dropped every Monday. So it should be Monday if you're watching this right now. And basically what that is we're going to have one guest. So I am one of your hosts. Maddie is one of your hosts. And we're going to have a guest talking about a specific topic. We're going to keep the topics real abstract. A lot of conversation on our topics. And today our topic is love. We'll get into that a little bit. But first, maybe like some quick introductions. I did mine.
All right.
Maybe co-host Moffitt.
Yeah. Okay. My first name is Maddie, but he always calls me Moffitt. Maddie Moffitt. I'm really excited. I'm really nervous. But I think Seth and I are a really good duo. We're kind of the same person. It's a little scary sometimes, but we're ready to have guests on and open our minds, have some good conversation.
Yeah, really love to hear, Maddie. My name's Logan, longtime friends with Seth. I mean, we go back to middle school, kicking it for like, man, days, years actually. So I'm really, blessed to have this opportunity with you, man. I really hope this shit works out for you.
Dude, so do I.
Yeah, man, to your future.
So do I.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Appreciate it.
All right, dude, shall we dip into today's topic?
I mean, you want to go right in, or you want to loosen up a little bit first? Or I don't want to...
I'm about as loose as I'm going to get, brother.
All right, right, yeah, let's get it.
Whoa.
All right, so first I'll just ask you, how do you define love, Logan?
That's like a really complex question because, so many factors arise in, what you choose to define it. Obviously, it's an extremely subjective topic, and I try to, pool my own idea through my own identity, try to have, the most authentic, genuine understanding of what I believe to be love, to my understanding. And I think what I've identified love as, to my understanding, is like this undying want or wish to like seek another's happiness, in almost a sense like to where you're willing and comfortable and happy to sacrifice your own for that person in a way. Obviously more factors come into play, but you shouldn't, obviously get walked on in a relationship. Like that's not love. But like when you see that like passion to like just, dying wish is to have them happy on your last breath. And I definitely think that is love and what I see as love. Okay. Certainly so. But it also gets a lot more deep when you're looking at like, like companionship love or like parental love and friendship love.
True.
But I think in like a romantic sense, like that deep, utter passion to like want something for someone, desire for someone to be happy and fulfilled. I think that's like really what drives me for my romantic relationships.
Okay. And you mentioned other forms of love. Do you think one is stronger or more important than the other forms?
I mean, certainly so. I think I've experienced it a little bit in my life already. And I think I've pursued this conversation with myself too, because I've always had this like sort of fascination to like this connection that we have with like our family, almost innately we're just kind of have this connection, and you've always associated as love. Like, have you been telling your family you've loved them since day one? Like,
indeed.
Yes. I mean, before you even knew what it was. So like I was always really interested in like what that was. And so like I kind of categorized it as like a parental love, where it's like even an adopted child will have like, to my my own opinion, I believe that there's like some curiosity, desire to like want to know where you came from. Like I think that love is like the underlying, factor in that motivation. It's just like, like they're just something to that, like, you know, that portal that brought you into this universe that you just have a, you know, connection to. And I think that like is definitely up there. But I have had a romantic relationship where I have sacrificed my, you know, family's relationship to pursue it. Yeah, I was living here in Reno, have been most of my life, and I met a girl that I genuinely fell in love with, and I, you know, just adored her. Our worldviews coincided so well, so brilliantly. I just thought it would be, you know, fool's errand to not pursue her, and I actually ended up moving across the country for her, and, you know, it's definitely something that I'll remember for the rest of my life. You know, bittersweet that I'm back, but, you know, good decision in the end and good decision to pursue it. So I definitely see that as, like, in some instances, this romantic love can definitely succumb, you know, this, like, innate parental love that I kind of see in the world.
Okay. Do you think that love can be, like, one form of love can become another? Or do you think it's, like, just set in stone?
Yeah, no, I definitely don't think that at all, because you definitely see someone and you're attracted to them, right? And then you get to meet them, and then you fall a little bit more, and then as time sort of progresses, for me at least, I, you know, start to obsess over the character a little bit more, especially if it's, you know, my partner and I'm really interested in her. Then, you know, I become obsessive over, you know, her character, and it definitely, you know, pursues into this, like, fluid state of, like, you know, just, like, companionship. And that's, like, you know, the transcendence of this, like, you know, like, cupcakey, just, like, super sweet love to, like, you know, this, like, real, super genuine, you know, uncomparable thing. So, yeah, definitely feel that, you know, some love can certainly transcend into something, you know, bigger and better.
Yeah. Do you believe in true love?
You know, that's an interesting topic. But I personally don't believe it as in, like, a, you know, subjective kind of, like, I don't know, identity. I don't like, I've seen it in the world, you know, where I've, like, met a couple that got together in middle school and they've been together their whole lives, and, you know, they're now, like, 76, and, you know, they've spent, like, 70 years together, basically. So I've definitely seen it in an instance where it's like, wow, that, you know, like, maybe, you know, it is out there, so it does exist. But, like, for me, I'm just, like, I don't know, too curious, I guess, of a individual to just, like, accept one partner as, you know, the almighty.
So does that mean you do not believe in soulmates?
I mean, in terms of, you know, partnership, no, I don't. Again, this is, you know, on my own terms. I have seen it. I have really appreciated it. And it, you know, it makes me, like, hopeful for the world, but it's not something that, you know, I wish to, you know, have for myself, you know. I just think that that's, like, it definitely forces you to, like, sit on the couch, and I definitely don't believe in that philosophy, you know. I'm, like, kind of a go-getter. You know, I'm lazy, definitely, but, you know, and, like, when I want someone, I definitely, you know, do what I'm going to do to, you know, try to get them. I'm going to pursue them. So I think that if you're like, oh, like, true love exists, you know, I'll just find my true love. I think that's just, like, you know, kind of sitting on the couch waiting. And I think that's really dangerous. I think life will pass you by really, really quick.
That's true. I also know that I know you're not a polygamist, but you do have, like, you're very open to it, at least.
Yeah. So, like, I definitely wouldn't describe myself as a monogamist by all means. I just think that it's a kind of a foolish perspective. Just, like, biologically, it's just, like, really, just kind of shallow, you know, just, like, this idea that you should only have one partner because that's, you know, serene and real. It's just, like, I don't know, kind of like a little sad. In my opinion. Also, I just think that I'm a really curious person. I don't think that there's one fish in the sea that it's going to be, you know, entirely, you know, capsulating to me. I think that I adore people for, you know, their individuality, and individuality, you know, as the title entails, an individual. So, you know, I definitely don't think that, like, that's my, you know, domain.
So in your opinion, it doesn't, like, take away from your love for like let's say your girlfriend, right? And then you go out and you start loving someone else. It doesn't like affect.
Yeah, so it definitely, if you're trying to practice, polygamy within a relationship, you're gonna run into hardships. But that's, of any relationship, you're gonna run into hardships. It's just a matter of, your utter commitment. And I definitely think that this practice, I call it practice, but it's lifestyle.
This lifestyle.
Is, something that's like further transcending, in my opinion, because you have to have like, this intellectual thought that rationalizes, this decision that you're making, and I think that takes a lot more, thought and progression, whereas, typically people just, take what society tells them, like, hey, you're supposed to stay faithful, you're supposed to, not sleep around, you're supposed to have one partner, and I think that, it's a lot more empowering to step outside of that box and kind of look at different alternatives, certainly.
So, do you ever see yourself then on like, the big day, girl in the white wedding dress, anything like that? Do you ever see yourself there?
So I actually personally don't really believe in traditional marriage. I mean, certainly I would marry if I, was deeply devoted to a partner. I also believe this with children. I don't think that I necessarily will pursue children, but I imagine that I will find it.
I hope you don't pursue children.
Will pursue having children.
Yeah. Yeah.
No Jeffrey Epstein shit.
Yeah, right.
Baby. No.
That's interesting. I didn't know that you weren't into traditional marriage.
Yeah, actually.
But you do see yourself getting married.
I do see myself, falling down that path. Falling down that path.
Emphasis on the full.
Yeah, right.
Just because I do, I do see myself, sacrificing this ideology, to support my partner's ideology, if this is something that, she supports and respects and is, further pursuing of the commitment. If that's what that means to her, then I guess then at that point I would pursue it.
Okay.
But just like in a more casual sense of the matter, if you and I are just talking, then I'm not like very traditional.
Yeah.
Don't identify as a monogamist, and I don't also believe in traditional marriage. I do definitely think it's a pretty wise decision in some economic stances, but 50% of all marriages end in divorce, and that's not even encountering the
Jesus.
50%. Poor sorry bastards that don't actually commit through their divorce, and they just sit in this hole of self-pity for the rest of their life and don't actually get to do anything that they wanted to do. Ooh. They just had to answer to somebody. I think that's like the scariest thing in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I definitely don't shun people that have this ideology. Yeah. I think that it's a respectable thing. If you have that utter commitment that is just like so unrelenting that you're not willing to pursue another partner, I think that that's a pretty beautiful thing. But I just I more favor this ideology of polygamy because I just think that there are a lot of factors that support it for my subjective beliefs. Yeah just like, man, like again, reverting back to individuality, like you, Seth, I love you, man, like you're my guy, like dude, like, and I not a romantic way at all, like you're my brother, and this is like I like you for you as in Seth, like there are some subjective characteristics to you that create your identity, and that's why I like you, and Maddie as well, you have these individual character traits that I fancy, and I like to this is what keeps me engaged with people, so I think that I want to pursue that in life, in every aspect of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
truly, I do understand that.
But again, I don't shun it. I don't shun monogamy. I think I don't
shun polygamy.
I think
it's very interesting to me, the whole idea of polygamy, just because like, the way we grew up and like how we were all taught about love and how it's one person. I think you talked about that a little bit. I guess another question I would have is, do you think love is the driving factor and most important thing in a healthy relationship?
In a healthy relationship, no, I don't think so. Not at all. Because you definitely see some relationships that have this, very passionate love that just like, unfortunately, they don't have the fundamentals to, piece it together. I use this example pretty frequently, but The Notebook, you look at their relationship, like they undeniably were madly in love with one another, but that certainly wasn't the most healthy relationship, was it?
Never seen The Notebook.
Oh, well,
I've seen it. I got you.
yeah, to those of you who've seen The Notebook, it's not the healthiest relationship. It's a beautiful one, but certainly
Yeah,
not
maybe
the most
healthy wasn't the right word.
Yeah, in terms of like success, I guess, I definitely think that it is the ultimate factor.
Yeah.
You can't stay committed to a partner, especially in a romantic relationship, if you don't actually love them. It becomes very tiring, it becomes very taxing. And you also, I don't know, I like to think that I'm pretty morally sound. So it becomes a point where I just like feel morally corrupt, that I'm, committing a wrong to this person, where I say that I'm, fully with them and committed, and then I'm in love with them when, maybe internally I'm not. I think that's that's a pretty bad thing.
May I switch gears a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
so shut up. I didn't ask you. I asked Logan.
Facts. Okay,
the
go for it.
guest. So how much of romantic love do you think is actually tied to self-love, and how that is fostered and how you feel about yourself?
Yeah, I think that this is a really interesting topic that not a lot of people actually touch on, because it's just like not everybody likes to admit their qualms, what brings them down, what their flaws are. And it definitely, a relationship is definitely a two-way street, and it requires two individuals to create it. So I definitely think that you have to have this self-love in order to generate an output love, truly. Yeah. So but in terms of like like if you're saying like the passionate, like the fiery kind of love, I'm not necessarily sure of that, because I myself have been in an instance where I was like relatively insecure with myself for whatever reason it may be, because never mind. But
we don't want to we don't want to dip that deep right now.
You're beautiful, Logan.
But I definitely found myself like just fully being like absorbed in this like sort of created identity, this created person where we're both like for one another, like wholeheartedly, I can love myself if I know that somebody else loves me, type of deal. But like it's kind of interesting because you also need to love yourself in order to love somebody else. So it's kind of like this balancing act.
Is there any point where you have felt off balance, like in a relationship where it was just not
big guy.
correct,
I mean, yeah, certainly so. I have had that experience, unfortunately, where and you're gonna have that experience, unfortunately, in all aspects of life and in all relationships of life, because some people are willing to put more effort than others, and all relationships require effort. So I certainly have wound up in some situation where I just felt I was outputting more effort than my partner, and I just felt a little neglected, and I did drive the relationship away, but a learning experience. So
right.
yeah,
We're all so young.
Yeah, we are also young, and also we have so many more years to gather, so many more experiences, so it's not like I'm beating myself up over it.
Definitely the cool thing about love is your definition today could be completely different from your definition 2 months from now, even tomorrow. You know what I mean? That's why I thought this topic would be extremely interesting.
Yeah, certainly so. You could meet somebody that just
changes
sweeps
your whole,
you, and just
changes
takes
your
you
whole
away.
perspective.
Yeah, and I have been delving into this topic for a little while now, because again, I think it's always sort of fascinated me. I started contemplating like what it was that created this bond between parents and children, and I started fascinating about that pretty early, and I made a connection between love, like, you know, near my adolescence, and then I started pursuing, you know, romantic partners, and then, you know, I had romantic love, and, you know, I just was always curious about it. So
What was that point in your adolescence?
I think, you know, so it was like, I'd say probably around middle school or so, like 7th grade. I've certainly faced, you know, a good deal of hardships in my life, and you know, I definitely had to pull myself through on, you know, my love for my parents on, you know, on some aspects. So I definitely appreciated this quality of life, very much so. And so I you know, realized the connection when I actually was pursuing my first ever true girlfriend, I'd say, in 7th grade. And I made the connection when I, like, thought that maybe I had loved, you know, I loved her. I liked her a lot, tremendously, and I knew that that was different from what I had experienced before. So I thought to label it something different. So, you know.
And that's when you started, like, learning more about it?
Just being fascinated by it and pursuing it, truly. Because, you know, it definitely is one of these beautiful, beautiful things that, you know, shapes us as, you know, a race, a species. You know, is this capacity for love, you know, our ability to share and feel complex emotions. So yeah, it's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. It
is.
Really is. This shit's still gross.
You know, I'm growing on it a little bit. The back end doesn't taste so bad to me now. It's interesting.
Right?
Yeah, what is this?
Do you love it?
I don't love it. I don't love it.
It's a Lagavulin.
Lagavulin. Yeah. Anybody out there drinking Lagavulin?
Yeah. It's gross.
Seth's shitting on your drink right now.
So, Maddie, how do you define love?
Oh, boyo. What kind of love?
Well, okay, so you believe that there's many types of love, right?
I do.
Just run me through the different types you believe that there are.
Okay, I believe in self-love, friendship love, and romantic love, obviously.
Okay.
Self-love, I've come to find out, I think, is probably the most important, because I really lacked it for a long, long time, and I didn't realize how detrimental that was to myself and other people that I wanted to have in my life. Like, I didn't realize how much that brought them down. You know, I thought I was only bringing me down, and I was like, who cares about Maddie? Not Maddie. But actually, it also brought down everyone else around me. And so that was one that I was like, oh, I've really missed that one and the importance of that one. Okay. So in a way, I kind of think that's the most important one. Whereas I used to think romantic love was the end-all be-all. I was like, it will save me. It will make me so happy.
But then you become reliant, right?
Reliant on something that's unstable, because frankly, like, romantic love is lovely. Obviously, everyone seeks to be in some sort of intimate relationship, whether that's, you know, open or marriage or, you know, anything like that. But I found that it was just people, if they are going through hard times, if they're going through things and they can't properly love you, it just, you're left out to dry, you know? And nothing against them, because we're people, and, you know, relationships don't always line up. Like, that's the hard part. Like, I don't know how people are married for 60 years. I look at that and I'm like, oof, I don't know how you did that. And also, like, I hope it's still good, you know? Like, they'll say it's good, but, like, you won't really know until you're 60 years in and you're like, yeah, I still love that person.
It's true.
But I guess in defining, so friendship love, I think that's the ultimate, like, I will do anything for you. Okay. I will always be there for you. Just like you love their time and you love their presence, you know? Yeah. Like, it's just like, you know, you choose to have them in your day, like each day. I kind of feel like friendship love is more like you play it by, you know, this week, this month, You know, because like you can still love a friend but be like, I'm tired of them right now.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hang out with them. So I feel like it's more of something that you're able to choose more easily. Whereas like romantic love, I think that's like you have to choose to commit to it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't want to say it's all encompassing, but like it kind of is. It's like once you choose that has to be up there in your priorities because there's no way it can't be.
You have to put it on your forefront of mind. Yeah.
Like it's not like something you can be like casually like, oh yeah, I love that guy over there. I'm just not going to talk to him for like 3 months. I mean, you kind of can, but that doesn't feel good.
Doesn't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think there's, because you said that you struggled with self-love for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's a way to practice self-love or like to get better at it, or at least like what helped you?
See, I'm very different than a lot of people.
I know you are.
Where I feel like you gotta hit rock bottom first. Like you genuinely have to feel the most self-hatred you've ever felt for you to be like, okay, well,
Christ.
We're gonna build this up.
Jesus, man.
Like, you know, like I feel
it's
like
pretty intense, Maddie.
I know,
right?
It's a little intense, but like if you want true self-love, you have to sit there with all your flaws and be able to genuinely accept them and be comfortable. Like, some people, you'll see a flaw and you're like, ooh, I'm gonna ignore that for a while. I'm not ready for that one. And then they never address
people who
it.
see flaws within themselves. You say, okay, continue.
Like they never address it. And like that's fine, it works for a while. I was the queen of that for a long time.
Go off, queen.
Queen. But, like eventually it catches up. Like it shows up in your life. It resurfaces.
Okay.
If you do not sit with it, you may be married for 20 years and then all of a sudden that one thing that you didn't address is going to affect more things than you think. So like I still think you have to hit rock bottom.
Okay,
sit with
that's
all of
interesting.
It.
Why do you think you have to have a big level of self-hate though to love yourself?
It's almost like that dichotomy. It's like the necessary like contrast. Like you don't know what's clean if you've never seen dirty.
Right. Okay. But I feel like it's like you're aware of your flaws. It doesn't mean like you hate yourself.
Well, I feel like you can be aware of them and ignore them. But like
right. But what if you're aware of them and you accept them? Right. Because I feel like
That's
I have.
What I'm saying.
I know, but I feel like I have a good amount of self-love. But I don't think I've ever.
The most self-love I've ever seen of anyone. You stare at yourself in the mirror every day.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, and I don't feel like I've ever. I don't think I got that way because there was a point in my life where I like fucking hated myself. There was a point in my life where I hated my life, but I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was because of how I am or my flaws.
Go
ahead.
In life in general, every play, it's like poker. Every player is dealt a different hand.
Right.
Like some people just innately, adore themselves. There are narcissists in the world. There are narcissists in the world. There are people who are extremely insecure. There are also people that that are pretty modest and humble. They're just like there's a spectrum of of people out there. And
like I love your family. You're in a very supportive environment.
Right.
I was not. Like I love my family. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of the times I was left to figure things out on my own. And like as a kid, first of all, sorry, I'm a psych major, but like when you're young, you have this belief.
Wow, dude.
Stop.
We're talking
Don't
with a
do
psych
this
major.
right now.
Jesus Christ, man.
We're talking about love with a psych major.
I will walk out.
Continue,
right
psych
now.
major. Please enlighten us.
I was just gonna say, like when you're young, I think it's before like the age of 10. Like your brain genuinely thinks that the world revolves around you.
Wait, it doesn't.
Shut up.
So like I think if you're like a kid like me who didn't necessarily have that extra support for a long time, I thought every bad thing that happened was because of me. Every good thing that happened was because of me, which honestly almost nothing happens because of you. But like when you're young, like that's what you think. And so you internalize all that like all the fuck ups, all the things that you mess up, you're just like, oh, yikes, that must be me. Not like I made something bad. It's like I am bad, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I definitely see that, and this definitely pulls from, nature and nurture, certainly, because you can be pulled up in an environment that, definitely focuses on that. And I think that this is an environment where, or you should create that environment where people focus on that because, you need to have independence in this quality of life in order, to progress as a social being. You need it to be confident in yourself and be happy with yourself in order to, make friends and have friends and live a happy life, because friends will help support you live a happy life. That's, that's very true.
Yeah. Okay. And I lived my life kind of dependent for a while, like dependent on my best friends. And then my first love, Joey, shout out,
Oh, wow. See, I was thinking I would never name drop on this.
If he's watching, he knows. Him and I are still friends. But,
Shout
like,
out Joey. How you doing, boss?
I was that poor guy. I was way too dependent on him. And I didn't see it at the time.
Right.
Like he literally had to break up with me for me to be like, oh,
yeah.
that was a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Maybe I should figure out this before I even try this,
Right.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
It's a real tricky thing because, sometimes you wind up in a situation where, this is what you need to pull you through. And, if you don't have any foundation, any fundamentals in this aspect, then, sometimes you won't permit yourself to that opportunity for help. And it becomes very dangerous, very, very dangerous because, like I said, sometimes that's, the underlying factor of what's going to pull you through, in a lot of suicide cases, if it's just, it could just be one text, one phone call, one conversation that pulls them, away from that decision. So it could become a very dangerous thing when, you just shelter yourself so much in these insecurities that you can't even surmount, overcoming them to have a relationship which will actually, pull you forward and just spiral things, in the right direction for you. So it's a really dangerous thing. And, I really think that more families should incorporate this into their home environments because, an independent child is a happy child. An independent individual is a happy individual, and that will always be a true case. So long as you're not entirely lonely, you'll be a pretty satisfied individual and fulfilled individual if you can accomplish things for your own self. So I definitely think that, wide scale, we definitely should incorporate this into our home environments, teaching people to have this respect for themselves and their bodies and their personalities. And it's definitely not something that's talked about, and it's definitely something that needs to be talked about because America is like fucking horrible in terms of its society, its suicide rates, teen depression rates, like teen anxiety rates, like everything is skyrocketing right now. Our life expectancy for the first time in history has actually gone down because of suicide rates. And all of the other health defects that are going on in our society. And largely it was caused from, at home. So many of these things can be corrected from at home, from start of the environment, So this is definitely something that needs to be talked about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have opened a can of worms.
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh.
We got somewhere. I don't know where we got, but we got somewhere.
Where we got.
And this just got me really fired up because I hate to see the parents out there in the world that are just like, providing absolutely everything for their children, because that's not how you create a successful individual.
Ooh,
that's how you create a sheltered individual and a dependent. And that's not what the society needs. A society full of dependence will be a dependable society. And that's not a healthy one.
Right.
Wow. That was
Quote
that was
it.
good. I
Sign
know.
it, seal
Please
it, deliver it.
repeat that one. Whew.
Fuck.
And are we allowed to talk about you, Seth, or are we
Yeah, no, I'll definitely go, but you haven't touched a little bit on your romantic love definition.
But see, I don't even know if I can define it.
Interesting.
Because I feel like it varies with whoever you're in love with. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Well, there's a definition within itself.
I guess that is the definition. I mean, like, okay. Actually, I just thought of one that I think kind of overarches. Is romantic love, while it, has to be passionate, enjoyable, I think it has to stem from a level of respect for the other person.
Right.
Like, you have to be able... Because, like, friends, you can be like, okay, I don't really like that part of you, but I still love you. Okay. But I feel like with a romantic partner, you have to look at them as a whole, everything in their entirety, and be like, I love and respect every part.
I agree.
Like, there should be nothing you want to change if you're in a romantic relationship with someone, unless it's like, I wish you cleaned your room more. But, like, character-wise, I don't think you should look at a partner and want to change something. Like, you should look at your partner and be like, I love and respect every part of you. I'm not going to force anything on you. Like, I think that is true romantic love.
Okay. True romantic love. So do you think... Yeah, that's a big word. Do you think there's a romantic love where you could look at your partner and want to change something about them? Do you think that you don't love them, or you just don't love them as much as you could?
As much as you could.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that then.
Mm-hmm. I'm a lover, I feel like I can love... like, well, when I love someone, I, like, love them hard. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, like, sometimes...
Big loser, baby.
I'm a big loser, baby. Like, in the past, probably when I was, like, younger, like, I thought it was love. And then I get into a relationship with someone who I feel completely comfortable with, where there's nothing that I'm really, like, I don't want to say annoyed, because I feel like that minimizes it, but, like, nothing rubs me wrong about them. And then I'm like, wow, this is much different. Like, it just feels different. And I know that doesn't help anyone who doesn't know what that feels like, but, like, I promise you there's a difference.
So, Maddie, do you think that there's something as perfect? Do you think that there's anything in the world that's perfect?
Nope. Perfect is not a thing.
So how can you suspect to find an individual you assume to be perfect?
I don't assume them to be perfect.
Right.
I assume to accept them.
Yep.
I assume... Also, with romantic love, I think it also has to... You have to look at someone and be like, I can get through hard shit with you. Because I feel like you have to fit well together. Like, I think that's a big part, is, like, when you're choosing... Because for me, I'm more of a one-partner person. So, like, I don't, like, think...
What?
Shut up. Like, oh, like, they're kind of missing this, I'll find it here, Like, I have to look like, okay, I have these qualities. They have these qualities. Do they match up? Do we complement each other well? Is there anything missing? Like, that's kind of how I view that sort of thing. Yeah,
I think that it's really hard to look at something like so intangible so logistically, though. It's like you got this like aura, this like undescribable energy pulsating through the world. And you're trying to look at it like step B and A. It's kind of challenging, but I definitely I would support the fact that you have to have compatibility with your partner ultimately. Like, obviously you just won't be able to, have a relationship if you're not compatible. So, this is like one of the fundamental things that, would create a successful relationship. I certainly would second that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess my definition is respect and acceptance for romantic love.
Respect and acceptance. Acceptance, I think, is the biggest one in a romantic love. We're one of the biggest ones as well.
Yeah, I definitely would second that, certainly. So, big dog.
Yep.
Your turn then.
We've been waiting for you.
Well, would you look at the time? No, I'm kidding. So, the way I define love is I do believe that there's many different types of love. And before I read a little bit, let me just go a little bit of backstory.
Oh, he's a scholar.
I am a scholar. You're sitting with a scholar.
Bro, you read.
I do read.
Like an actual book?
No, yeah, I read all the time, every day. I was actually I was reading before we started this podcast.
Oh, were you? Yeah, just touching up.
Right before you got here, though. So no, I would call it like friendship love, romantic love, family love, which I actually all found out has names, right? So in Greek love, there's 4 different types of love. So the first one is called eros love, which is relationship love, passionate, intimate, sexual, right? And then there's philia love, which is friendship love, like brotherly love. That's the love I would say like you and I share. And And then there's family love, which is called storge. I think that's the way you say it. And that's the like innate love, that connection that's just there from birth, you know, for your family. And then there's this one form of love that, how I used to call it, I used to call this form of love true love. That's where I would bracket it. And this love is called agape, right? And how this love is defined in Greek philosophy is God's love for mankind, right? It's an absolute, like, divine, accepting, unconditional type of love. And this is the love that you strive for. This is the love that you want. And this love can be found in all three of the other types of love. So you can have like an eros agape love, right? Which is like a form of relationship love that is true, right? Agape philia love, like unconditional for your friends and all that. And obviously agape storge love, which is unconditional love for your family. So yeah, so those are like all my different types of love. I'd say what that entails is, for example, it kind of goes back to what Maddie was saying, is that I had a friend once, we were talking, and she's like never been in like a serious relationship, and she was talking to me, and she was like, yeah, I just haven't found anyone that like checks all my boxes. And that kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. And I just told her, I was like, well, I don't think you're ever going to find someone that checks all your boxes. Like that seems extremely rare, right? You just need to find someone that your connection is deep enough where the unchecked boxes don't bother you, right? And that's when it goes back to a little bit of acceptance, a complete acceptance of other people's flaws and insecurities and everything, that you don't want to change them. You just fully accept who they are. And that's what I believe to be true love, or agape love. So yeah. And I believe that it could be formed as well. Like you can start off with an eros love, and the more you guys get to know each other and everything, it could turn into true love. Same with all different types of relationships. And I think the most beautiful thing to me about true love is like its simplicity. It's what I've always said. And I'm very hopeful as well. I know you said, you know, I don't know if you're ever going to find someone that perfect. I'm extremely hopeful. I think true love and soulmates do exist. And I do think that the most beautiful thing about it is that you'll just know. It's how simple it is. It'll just be a feeling that you've never felt with anyone else before. And that, I mean, at least I hope that's true. That's what I want to be true.
Yeah. I imagine, like, you know, because I'm talking to you just things that I've gathered, you know, of my own thought. You know, I've sat down and like kind of looked at it, you know, and I've also like, it's crossed my mind, like it's bumped me when just randomly, you know. But I've always like pictured this time where I would find it, you know, find love, and it'd be like, this is the true identity. And I just like imagine it to be this like profound experience where it's just like, you know, like, I don't know, like just godlike, you know, just like transcending, where you just, nothing else really matters. Like you're just completely content, like almost like the peak of life. Like you're obviously thrilled to get to continue life with this partner, but I just like, I kind of like, you know, maybe it's like, you know, false hope, or, you know, some just like, I don't know, like some fantasy or what, but I just kind of always imagine it like once it's going to hit me, like, you know, and I'll be like, oh, this is it. Yeah. You know, and I definitely, I say this now and that kind of discredits my past relationships, but, you know, I definitely to this date, I would say that I have loved the people that I have been in relationships with, certainly, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
As we stated before, this is certainly something that is ever changing, and until you get to this point, I think that, you know, it will be ever changing. Yeah.
And are you so hopeful because you've gotten close, that you've like experienced almost that form of true love?
No, I don't think I've experienced it yet. I feel like there's been like glimpses of it. I don't think I've fully experienced it. I think I'm very hopeful because it also goes back to what you were talking about, the way I was brought up. I had a great example of love in my own household. Like that's what I've always said about my parents. I think that they are truly in love.
Shout out the Wilkins.
I do believe that they are truly soulmates. And like that's why love is always really interesting, because, you know, we only know what we learn, right? We only know what we've experienced and what we see with our own eyes and how we interpret things. And so I think I'm very hopeful in love because my whole life I grew up in a household where I did see it, where I know it's possible and like, and how great it can be. And I do want that. Yeah. I think that's a big reason why I'm very hopeful when it comes to love.
Yeah. And this definitely reverts back to what I was saying about, you know, nurture and nature. You know, if you were raised in this environment where you saw this, like, you know, this perfect relationship, and, you know, since you've seen it, you realize it does exist out there. So you are hopeful for it, you know? So, again, like, you know, home environment is so important because, you know, you can be raised in an environment where this is what you believe in, and that will drive you for the rest of your life, certainly. But, you know, reverting back again to my own personal ideology, I just personally don't think you should wait around by all means. Like, go get it with anything. With anything, go get it.
Yeah, sure. I don't think I'm necessarily like waiting until that person comes along. I am just kind of living my life, you know, day by day, going with the flow. But I do think, like I said, I think I'll just know. So it can happen in a girl I meet. Maybe I'll meet her and I'll be like, wow, this is it. You know, I don't think it'll be that simple. That sounds very like fantasy. Sounds like a dream, a movie. Yeah. But I do think that it'll happen in a way like where I meet a girl and we start talking and we build a certain connection and relationship, but it just feels different, you know? Also, what I believe about love is, and I don't know how much you guys will agree with this, but I do believe once you love someone, like that shit does not go away. I think the form can change, right? Like you can love, like you could be in love with someone and then not be in love with them, and that it could change in that form. But I think if you lose love for someone completely, I don't believe you ever really loved them.
Yep.
You know, finishing it with that, then I guess maybe I would support it. But it's a pretty tricky thing because you can certainly think that in a present moment you are ultimately in love with somebody. Yeah. You know, you could certainly live in that facade without a doubt. And then you just grow as an individual and you look back on it and you realize like, oh, you know, that's not what, you know, I agree you could think with it as love. Yeah. But
you could think it for sure.
Yeah, certainly.
But I think if it ever like goes away, I don't think you ever really love them. But that's also just my definition of love. You know what I mean? Like based on other people's definitions, love can be an on and off thing. But I don't think it is.
See, I think I agree with you, Seth. Like I don't think it ever really goes away. But I do have a question for you.
Okay.
So say you found what you thought was like true love, but like the logistics of it didn't match up. Would you give it up, or would you? Like, I guess it's almost like finding out your priorities. Like, is that true love like a huge priority to you in your life?
So, like, if I felt the connection and are you saying it wasn't all it was, like made up to be, or
like the relationship part wasn't necessarily working? Like, say, like you had like a job offer in like another state, and it was like your dream job, and she never wanted to leave. Like, would you?
Like life got in the way.
Like
a little
life
bit?
got in the way. Like, what would you prioritize?
That's very interesting. Well, I don't know. I guess, and this is probably not an answer you'd be looking for, but it's the first answer that's coming to my head is like, I just don't think it was true love. Like, I really believe in it, and it's very naive maybe, but I do believe like it's perfect. Like, it is what it is, and it's like things will get in the way, but it won't take away from our love, and like that won't like be a factor, like outside factor. Like the connection will always be there. Maybe I guess maybe the relationship doesn't work out. Maybe we just weren't meant to be, I guess. I guess that does contradict a little bit of what I'm saying. That's interesting. I don't know.
I know I hit you with
I don't know. I don't think it would. And I think it's a big what if based on my own definition of true love.
Okay.
Because I just don't think it would get in the way. I don't think there's many things that could get in the way of true love.
Yeah, of true love. But yeah, I get what you're saying. You know, like Romeo and Juliet's story. You know, nothing like
they offed themselves.
They literally offed themselves for.
I guess
for
that's
that
what I
love,
do.
so.
If anything, if any outside factors got in the way of me and my true love, we'd just do a suicide pact.
If you off yourself, I off myself, and then a few other people off themselves because I already have some suicide pacts out there.
Oh, just because of the pact, not because of our connection. Just because, like, we agreed at one point that if I killed myself, you'd kill yourself, not because you'd be so depressed.
I'm a man of my word. What do I gotta do?
That's tough. Who did we make suicide pacts with? I don't remember this.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying me.
You'd be if I killed myself, you'd kill yourself.
And then
that
would
would
start
be
a
sad
chain.
because she would be
Start a
sad.
chain.
Okay, so
she
yours
was
wasn't-
complimenting.
Okay.
You. Yes. For the
All
connection.
right, well, I'll do
there.
the whole world a favor and kill myself, so there's no more Madison Muffet.
And anybody associated.
Yeah.
With that.
I'm joking.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Right? We just
They
kind of talked
literally
about how
We
can't
just
suicide-
talked about how
suicide
suicide
was
is
a
like a
massive
serious
problem.
problem. Now we're joking about it.
Yup.
It's
That's
a
how,
joke.
That's
It's a
how
joke.
we
We're joking.
deal
Don't
with
joke.
serious things.
Don't cancel
We're not
the
serious.
Don't cancel the Kiss Your Homies podcast.
We don't want anybody
please.
to kill themselves. We want love and peace and prosperity.
Yes.
Indeed.
And longevity.
Yes,
and
we do.
longevity.
Yes, we do. Yeah, I guess I have a pretty simple definition of love.
I feel like we have like a little range right here
Yeah,
of like
we do. Of
super
different
hopeful. I'm like hopeful.
semi hopeful-ish.
And Logan's like, yeah, I mean, it's all right.
Logan's just, I would say he's just more like open to
That's true.
to anything.
I like to look at it like that, you know? Like I also, you know, obviously you have to have an opportunity for love in order to pursue it. So you need to put yourself out into the world in order to have these, you know, opportunities.
Yep.
You know, so I don't want to just like sit around and wait. So I definitely, you know, go out there and I'm, you know, open to it. So
No couch sitting.
No couch sitting.
yeah, no couch sitting.
The only time we sit on the couch is in this podcast.
Right.
This podcast.
Right
here,
here.
right now.
I don't even own a couch.
Dude,
I
this is so
sleep
off topic.
standing up.
It's true though. I don't
this is so
actually
off
own any
topic.
furniture.
What did you sleep on for like a fucking year?
I slept on an army cot for 9 months
Army
because I
cot,
was
dude.
practicing minimalism.
I know. What the fuck was that? I remember you were
That's
telling me about that.
sick.
Oh, that's
I
funny.
love that actually.
How was that? Just real quick.
Um,
The cot or the minimalist?
yeah, the cot or the pursuit of philosophy.
You know, we'll just talk about this on another podcast. Why don't you just tell me how comfortable that cot was real quick?
I think my lower back is still fucked to this day.
Yeah, dude, that shit sucked. I remember, yeah, it's very
Thank you, all our
off-topic.
chiropractors out there. I personally need you a lot.
Yes. Christ almighty.
Yeah, that was an interesting time for sure.
Yeah. So any other questions to anyone?
Come on,
about
bro.
love?
What you mean? We can't be wrapping this up anytime soon.
I don't know how long it's been.
I don't know either. I think it's definitely been like 45 minutes.
It's been an hour.
It's been an hour.
That's pretty flame. I mean, we could talk a little more about
Yeah, you
love.
just want to be cash. We don't really have to, you know,
Yeah, we could
delve
talk,
too deep about
we
it.
could talk
but
about whatever.
I
But
always
yeah.
delve deep.
Yeah, no, that's kind
It's
of
a thing.
I don't know no better.
right. It's kind of me and Moffat's thing.
I'm a big loser, baby.
Anytime we talk to someone, we just find a way to get stupid deep and like dig into them, bro.
And,
I
like,
used to
I
try,
seriously
though.
am.
And they
I
love it.
don't mean to. I promise
Yeah, me neither.
you. This is just
I
It's
used
just
to
who
pry.
I
will
am.
admit that I used to pry, but
You did used to pry.
I
Big
did,
time.
I
I
did.
remember. This is. I love you to death, Logan. But I remember there'd be so many times where I'd come into the restaurant where you were working, and like I'd sit down and I'd be like, "Oh, what's up, Logan? Like, how are you?" You're like, "I'm good. How are you?" And I'm like, "I'm good." And you're like, "Are you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm good." You're like, "You know, you could talk to me, man." I'm like, "Dude, I'm fine."
hey, he's looking out for you.
No, I love it.
yeah,
I
We
love
need
it.
some
I
friends
care
to
about
do
my
that.
friends, dog.
So do I.
No, Seth is a horrible friend. Would
Adios,
not endorse
mio. You better
0
you
out
better
of
shut
5 on
up.
Yelp.
You better 0.
-1.
Wow,
Is there
negative
a
one
is there
Yelp
a
score.
like a stay away for
My
like, your
show, my
safety
rules.
button?
Cut this. Cut this whole fucking bit right now. Cut it.
Editor,
Cut it.
editor, we need you.
Wow. 0 out of 5.
Solid 0 out of 5. Like the average is 0 out of 5.
Cap.
So that means all of them are 0.
Cap.
A cap delivery for Madison Moffat. Absolute cap.
You don't know me.
I'm not gonna lie.
I do
though,
know
like,
you pretty well.
whispering into this mic though, like, kind of makes me feel professional.
No, yeah, right. You can get like real close.
You know,
Why don't you sing for me?
I'm not gonna do that to your audience members or future audience members. I'm just gonna talk real close and pretend that I know what I'm doing.
I've been doing that for an
It's
hour
convincing.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good.
now. Right?
Yeah, Maddie.
Thank you very much.
You think you're doing good?
I feel like I got deep on y'all. I
No.
hope that's what
I've
that's what the
definitely-
people want. I don't know what the people want.
I've definitely pretended to be friends with Maddie for like 2 months now. So I think I'm pretty good at pretending.
It's only been 2 months.
Actually, yeah. It actually has only been 2
Since
months.
July, bro. It's gonna be 3 here really soon.
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be 3 really soon. I think it's like we're just at 2. Might be like 2 in 1 week or some shit like that.
Yo, why y'all counting though?
Yeah. Why does it matter,
Why
Seth?
y'all counting though?
Why does it matter?
I don't know, dude.
He's trying to devalue our friendship. That's why.
You
Every
just
time-
said that
every
I'm a
time-
0 out of 5.
You know I don't mean it. Just like I called you a hamster. I don't mean it. But like,
Why'd she bring that up on podcast, bro?
Bro, if you were a hamster, you'd be the cutest damn hamster I've ever seen.
it's like the G-force
So this is
hamsters. You're like
friendship.
the cool ones.
You're Remy from Ratatouille.
So I can fucking cook a meal and I'm a fucking rat. That's pretty sick.
Well, you did make spaghetti last night. Did
I
Remy
did
ever make
make
spaghetti?
spaghetti.
I don't think so. No, thank you,
That was-
Tristan.
Are you
That
sure?
was
Are you
below
sure?
the-
Are you sure that wasn't like
Tristan's
his first dish? Like,
It's Tristan's favorite movie. I don't think he would fuck that up.
no.
Yeah,
Alright.
he would
Good
not.
taste,
I
Tristan.
believe
Good
it.
stuff.
I believe it.
No.
Young Tristan.
He makes oh, don't tell me what it's called. Tristan made it. The one that.
Ratatouille.
Oh
No,
no!
no. Yeah.
Yes, it is Ratatouille. Damn it!
Damn it! How did we get
How
that
did
wrong?
we do
dude?
this? I
No.
do this every time. Actually, I always forget. I'm like, what is the name of that dish from Ratatouille? And then they're like, you dumbass.
Right. Tristan makes a mean ratatouille, bro.
Yeah, I saw it actually.
Yeah.
I'm
So
like,
good.
I didn't try it, but I saw it.
He also
very
makes
good.
a fire
Vegan crunch wrap.
Fire. You know I love you, Seth. I don't know why we're counting. That devalues our friendship for everyone all
Oh,
the time.
Tristan, how you
No,
doing
I don't
over there,
think-
man?
I don't think
Really
we're
appreciate
doing-
all the love over
Yeah,
here,
thank you
man.
very
I
much,
know,
Tristan.
thank you,
I don't think
Tristan.
I don't think we're devaluing our friendship. I think it's because our friendship is so strong that it's like kind of insane that we've only been friends for 2 months. I kind of treat it as like a boost.
Okay.
That's at least how I treat it. But if you
Okay.
treat it like a
Well, I thought that's
it
why you bring it
diminishes
up.
our
Like,
friendship.
actually, it's only been 2 months.
because everyone is so surprised that we've only been friends for 2 months.
That's true.
So wouldn't that
Yeah,
boost?
it's
It's
pretty
'cause of-
complimenting.
It's because of the
Right,
fire
thank you.
handshake.
Why'd you bring that up, dude? We're not doing the handshake.
I know.
Oh, please
It's
stop.
secret. It's secret. Secret fire handshake.
But yeah.
Top secret ultra fire handshake. We got it in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, me and Logan been friends for a long time, but he definitely bullied me the first time we met.
Not true. Seth likes to twist up this.
No,
story.
I was
dude,
gonna
I
say he
swear to
twists
God.
up our first story too. He says I was a bitch.
Oh
Bro,
my
how
god! Can you believe him? Right?
Right? He's a liar. Everyone, Seth is a liar.
This is very fucking unfortunate because they're both lying. I'll tell you the story.
2v1.
Well, actually, we'll save our story for the boys podcast at some point because it is very fun to talk
It
about.
is fun. Yeah.
But you're never going to be on the boys
That's
podcast.
definitely one of my most recycled stories.
Right? No,
Yeah.
you fucking lie every time you tell it. Literally every single time you tell it, you fucking lie. But and then you're like, yeah. But it's I like it.
It's fun.
It's fun. It's
It is
definitely
fun.
really fun.
Yeah.
But the first time I met Maddie, right? I was at Brandon's house,
Maddie's size.
like with a bunch of the boys, and she actually just ended up showing up because she's friends with Brandon's sister, and she just came to say what's up, and so Allie, which is Brandon's sister, could meet her boyfriend, and so we're all hanging out and everything. And like Maddie was just being super quiet and she wasn't talking. I didn't try too much to talk to her because like I was just chilling with the boys and like
Rude.
shut up. The big boys are talking. Okay. I didn't try too much to talk to her. I was just kicking it with the boys and shit and drinking, having fun. And then as I was leaving, I like went up to Maddie like looked her dead in the eyes, bro. Like there's no way she could have thought I was talking to anyone else. I looked her dead in the face and I was just like, all right, well, I'm leaving. It was really nice to meet you. All right. She looked me dead in the face and said absolutely nothing. She literally just fucking stared at me.
I literally don't remember this at all. You did not walk up to me. You were walking.
Yeah, you were sitting on the
past
stairs. You were sitting on the stairs
towards
with
the
Allie.
door.
You were sitting on the stairs with Allie. I went up. I said, I'm leaving now. It was really nice to meet you.
I literally thought you were talking to Allie.
So you did hear it.
I mean,
But because before you said, I don't even remember you saying that.
I don't remember you saying it to me.
Cap.
I don't remember you saying it to me.
Cap.
Yo, sounds like you two need to work something out.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, let's fight it out right now.
I'll fuck you up. I'll fuck you up so bad.
Your friends seem to think that I would win in a fight, so...
Cap.
For future Kiss the Homies podcast, Fight the Homies podcast.
But, yeah. Adaptation, dude. Netflix adaptation, Fight the Homies podcast.
Monthly special.
Yeah, monthly special. Dude, we'll get the lacrosse helmets and
lacrosse
gloves.
helmet
and
and
just
gloves. Just
go out to
throw
the
hands.
street and just settle business.
Good old days.
Mm. That's
Boys
funny.
are so funny, right? Like boys are so funny.
Yeah, dude.
Girls are
Actually,
like.
I've not met a
girl, so
single. I haven't met a single girl that's funny. Oh shit! I forgot she was still here. No, Maddie is actually funny. I've met a few girls that are funny.
What I was gonna say though is like I don't know what like teenage girls are doing behind closed doors when they're with other girls. I don't know.
Why do you want to know?
I don't.
What teenage girls are doing behind
I don't.
closed doors.
What I was going to say is that like I bet you they're not out at 12 at night under
That's
a street
true. I
light
see what you're
throwing
saying.
hands with a lacrosse helmet and gloves.
Yeah.
I guarantee you they're
Yeah.
not doing that.
Yeah, they're
If
probably.
they are, they're fucking savage and I want to meet them.
Yeah, right. Which also sucks. Ow, fucker.
Jeez.
For anyone listening, I just hit Seth in the thigh.
It's also a video podcast. They watched you hit me.
But if they're just
Yeah,
listening...
Oh, if
what
they're
if
just listening.
Yeah.
You guys are
Those
smart.
just listeners out there.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all got big brain. Y'all got big brain.
So Seth, where can we find this podcast?
Fuck. Why'd you ask me that? I don't know yet. I think YouTube. Help me out, Tristan. YouTube.
He did that.
What is this?
YouTube.
I've never seen.
That's a
YouTube
Y
be
and
this
that's a
way.
T. Bro.
Do the T with one hand. Let me see you do it. That's not a fucking T. Is
That's
that
a T, bro.
Look at
This is not a T, bro.
That is a backwards set.
YouTube, and then I'll maybe like Spotify or something like that. We'll figure it out. It'll be all right here.
Yeah.
No, when the Instagram page and everything will explain it all. But YouTube for sure.
Instagram.
YouTube is 100%.
All
Do
right.
it for the gram.
Sounds good, baby.
Yeah.
What do you think the schedule is going to be looking like? What are
Monday,
uploads?
Friday. So Monday is gonna be the series podcast. Friday is gonna be all the boys shooting shit for an hour.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
Yeah,
there's
whatever you're into. You want to expand your mind a little bit, learn about some different topics. You join this podcast if you just want to chill while you eat your cereal in the morning or something, or smoke a cigar and just laugh with the boys. Tune in on Fridays.
Sounds good.
Best
So,
of both
All
worlds.
right.
Yeah, just a little further reiteration. So these Monday topic discussions, you're gonna compile a couple of different guests per
Yes.
month. I've heard, and
Yes.
at the end sum up what you've gathered from each of your guests.
Okay. Yeah, I might do that. I haven't completely decided. I think I might just do a different topic every time because the first idea I thought would get repetitive, but we'll get a little more into that.
Yeah, that could
after
be.
this. But I want a round of applause for everybody.
Not too loud.
I know.
The
That's
mic.
sensitive.
Hey,
Yeah.
We
man,
did it.
I gotta
did
say, I genuinely appreciate the opportunity, man. I really
Of
hope
course.
this pans out for
Me
you.
too. Me too.
Looking forward to being back here sometime soon, man.
Awesome.
Thank you, big
All
time, bro.
right. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to the very first episode of Kiss Your Homies podcast. I've
And
been
thank
your
you,
host.
Tristan.
Thank you, Tristan. Thank you, Tristan. Big behind the scenes man. Great addition to the squad. He's my brother as well. Very good. He's like me, but better looking. So yeah, maybe he should be the one in front of the camera. But anyway, I've been your host, Seth Wilkins.
And I'm your co-host, Maddie Moffat.
Don't forget to show your homies love and give them a big old kiss right on the lips.
Peace out. Much love.
Peace out.